Hello, my name is Devin, and before I go into what I have to go into, I will first like to explain that I have just had surgery 2 weeks ago, and I sound a little funny, look a little funny. Bear with me. I'm going to speak as clearly as possible. So if sometimes I slur, it's not my fault. I'm sorry. Okay, so once again, my name is Devin Fritz, and I go to Cal Baptist University. I am taking a business communications class, and for this class, we have to give a short presentation on a book we've been reading this semester. A book called Presenting to Win. There's no cover. I took it off. I'm sorry. It's called Presenting to Win: The Art of Telling Your Story by Jerry Weissman. Okay? Jerry Weissman. I'll say it one more time. Jerry Weissman is an author who's created a few other good books. He he's helped a lot of companies deliver their IPO roadshows successfully and to just present mission critical presentations clearly and effectively to get whatever it is that they need done. It is said that he's helped over 500 companies, which is a lot, and this sets him at the top of his field. People trust this guy. He's good. Um, Moving on. The chapters that were the most important to me were the first three chapters. I mean, that doesn't mean the other chapters were not important because they were. They helped me understand how to put the presentation together. But the first three really held the most information for me. Stuff that I will take on and use in other aspects of my career and in my life. Um, in the first chapter, which was you and your audience, there were three things that I took to heart. And that was number one, problems with your presentation. Um, Weisman goes on to explain that most of us are guilty of committing these crimes when it comes to presentations. One of them is having no clear point, no audience benefit, no clear flow, and being too detailed. Oh, and another being too long. I am also guilty of these things. I think it's kind of hard to avoid sometimes, especially when you're ignorant. So that stood out to me the most. Avoid these crimes, and you're already on the right track. The second is persuasion, getting from point A to point B. Guiding your audience from the beginning of the presentation to them not knowing what it's about, to them being in ignorance of it, to point B. Why are we doing this? What's my point? Why am I presenting to you? Why do I need to present to you? Why should you care? Um, the third one is audience advocacy, which is placing yourself in the seat or in the position of your audience to be an advocate for them, to see your presentation and the information that you're giving them from their point of view, understanding it from how they would understand it, not as the presenter. That leads us to the second chapter, which is all about the Wi-Fi. And the Wi-Fi is what's in it for you. That's what it stands for. Being an advocate for your audience, you have to ask yourself that question because ultimately, if you're presenting to someone, it's for not only your benefit, but mostly for theirs. It has to be because they have to have a reason to care about it. It can't just be about you, the presenter, or you and your company, because you're asking them to come to action to help you or to understand you or to accept you. Whatever it is you're asking, they need a reason to care about it. That's where the Wi-Fi comes from. Um, Basically, the benefits for them. That leads us to the second of chapter 2 that stood out to me the most. Excuse me. And that is moving with a you attitude. That means, once again, that you're thinking about your audience. You're thinking selflessly instead of selfishly. What's in it for you? Let me speak to you in the language that you understand, in the language that you can accept, that takes the emphasis off of me and what I want, but puts it onto you and why you should care, why it should matter to you. It's not just about me, it's about you, the audience, as well. I need your help. And if you help me, it'll benefit you, basically. Okay? Um, and the third chapter that I found important was Getting Creative, the Art of Effective Brainstorming. Now, this was especially helpful to me, and I think that it would be especially helpful to you because I think in most classes or in business or wherever it is that we're working, when it's time to do a project or it's time to put paperwork together or concept together or anything, I think many of us suffer with the beginning stages of getting your thoughts together and free flowing and putting it down, making it make sense. I mean, there's an art that comes to it, which is why I like this book because it's the art of telling a story, and it is an art. It's an art, like with everything else. Okay, um, but the first thing in chapter 3 that stood out to me was the data dump. I don't know if that sounded right. Data dump. This was taking all the thoughts and information that are inside of your head, all the concepts, all the feelings or the emotions, whatever it is that you need to get down onto whatever presentation you're doing, and putting it on a piece of paper, on a whiteboard, or just anywhere where you can visually see it, getting it out of here and onto something tangible so you can discover everything that you know, and hopefully if you need to know or have more information down, it'll tell you everything that you don't know that you should know, or what's missing from in here in this box of knowledge. Put it down, you dump it down, and Weissman explains that while you're doing this, you allow yourself to free flow. Allow your right brain to go through its process of creativity and just splatting out information, and then allow your left brain after that, after you've done the successful data dump, allow your left brain to put it all into an organized manner, to cluster it, to put it in the columns, to get it all together, the correct topics, the correct subjects, put it where it needs to be, organize it. First right brain, then left brain. These are two processes that need to be completed in order for it to be successful. The second thing from chapter 3 was the framework form, and this also leads me into the last question that we were supposed to answer, which was the things that you can take away and apply it to your career, to your school career, or to your business or professional career. Framework form is getting the whole complete framework, basically, like a picture of everything that encompasses your presentation. This is your audience, who you're speaking to. You need to know who they are, their knowledge on the subject that you're giving them, the subject matter, the WIFI, what's in it for them, how it will benefit this specific audience. You also need to know your external environment, what's going on outside of your corporation or outside of the subject that you're doing your presentation on, and how it can affect you and your subject matter, you and your call to action. The third thing is the setting. Who, what, where, and when. Where is this presentation going to be? What's it about? Who is it for? And when is it going to be? Just the whole picture of the presentation. What is it all for? On my behalf and on the behalf of the audience. Once you get this framework down, it'll be better to organize your presentation into the correct time frame, I guess. I'm sorry. Excuse me. But the main thing that I took from all this and that we should all take from this book is that even when you use the chapters that I just described and explained, the first three, or you use any of the preceding chapters on putting it together visually, on getting the text correct, the numerical data correct, the graphics, making sure it all fits together and looks beautiful like a work of art. Before you worry about any of that, you need to know and you need to accept that you, the presenter, are the main focus. And all of this visual presentation, this PowerPoint, text document, whatever it is, it's supposed to come secondary to you. You are supposed to be the main attraction. And I think in classes, in our professional careers, if we all work and move knowing this, then we would all be more successful. And I feel like this was the main point of the book. That these things are supposed to supplement who you are and what your skills are and how you can put them to use and to help your audience or your corporation or whoever it is that you're doing it for. And with that being said, I hope you could understand me, and I hope that I answered all the questions effectively. And thank you for listening. Have a great day.